everyone's trying to help everyone too, pretty much. And so you just find your place. You fit in, and it's really cool, I think. Chris says, none of these women will ever judge anything about anyone. We had a young man from Taiwan that was shy. He did great. Yeah, that's what's really cool about this too, is that when you're in this social event, there's so much support. It's so much different than just being one-on-one. And some guys are like, oh, I don't know, I couldn't be in that big area with all these women and these guys. But when you're there, it's different. Yes, it can be intimidating sometimes at first, but everyone's trying to help everyone too, pretty much. And so you just find your place. You fit in, and it's really cool, I think. So yeah, I would not worry about that at all, being shy or timid when you're there. You know, especially if we notice that you're a little bit shy, we will try to pair you with your matchmaker, who's going to be at your side all night, by the way, at these group events that you're seeing here. And we'll try to pair you with someone who's going to be a little more aggressive, a little more outgoing. And I think that helps some of the shyer guys. And all of a sudden they feel more comfortable because they have this, this aggressive wingwoman who's at their side all night, helping them talk to the women, helping them get the dates. Again, this is another case, just like correspondence that we were talking about, where you have someone helping you talk to the women and helping the women talk to you. Even though you're right there in the room, they're still helping, and they're going to put a little bit of their spin on the conversation. Same with correspondence. It's going to happen because you have a third person involved. There's one story that I think is kind of funny, actually. It's one of our executive clients was really, really in love with this woman in Odessa, and they thought that the two of them were meant for each other. She really did not speak much English, so she had a translator that was with them all the time. The translator was doing her best to translate, but you're human, and when you're working with someone, you're gonna impart some of your personality, some of your spin on it. And so they're always together, and they were using the same matchmaker interpreter the whole time. And then when they went off on their own, they went to another country. I think it was Dominican or someplace. And it was just the two of them without that third person. And all of a sudden it wasn't the same. It was like, oh, wow, we're missing something. Yeah, they were missing the third party who was kind of helping them along. And then they realized that maybe they weren't right for each other. And they ended up not getting married. And then she met someone else, and then she married that person. So a third party can have an influence in this. That's why I've always recommended when you're there, let's say in Mexico City, and you're dating, that you use, if you need an interpreter, if the woman doesn't speak that much English, that you use different interpreters so that you get a better idea of what she's really like as opposed to the same one all the time. But again, that's going to happen when you have people helping. And sometimes it's really great, and sometimes it helps very well. Sometimes it can spin it a little bit. But you have to understand that can happen. And then if you understand that, then you're prepared for it. Just today, someone told me about when I was talking to one of our affiliates, and they were saying how they just had a marriage with a woman who was 35 and the man was 31. Well, the woman really didn't have a lot of interest in meeting someone younger than she was. And if you know anything about the Ukrainians, usually they want the man to be 10, 15, 20 years older because they view men their own age, or especially younger, as just not being mature enough. Nowhere near mature enough, right? And that's just their view. And I know because I've been around it long enough. And so this woman really didn't want anything to do with him until the matchmakers pushed her and pushed her and pushed her to meet, convinced her that, he was more mature for his age, all that. And they finally met. That would have never happened on a regular traditional site where you have no one else pushing or helping the two to come together. And I can give you example after example after example of that. Even my own marriage with Tanya. She didn't want anything to do with me when I first met her. And some people actually said some nice things about me to her, which was wonderful, but she didn't want anything to do with me. I had to convince her how wonderful a person I am. And it took a long time, let me tell you. But if not for that social, if not for all the other people around, I probably would have never had a shot with her. So yeah, it really does matter, and it helps.
Interested? Learn more at
ukrainesingles.com.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Then click on the notice bell to get notified every time we add something new.